What is going on, y'all? Thank y'all so much for joining. My name is Chris. This is So I Did a Thing, where we have cool conversations with cool people who are doing cool things. Last week was supposed to be my first week streaming on Facebook, but I had some settings that I didn't know I needed to change. So I was the only one that could see it until after the fact, which is really, really strange. Anyway, so Restream Help they were a great help in helping me figure out which setting to change. Facebook still has not responded to me whenever I message them. So way to go, Facebook. But Amber Williams commented from over there, so I know at least one other person can see it. So thank you so much, Amber. So this is my first week streaming on Facebook, which I'm really excited about. What do we got going on? So a little bit about me. I am a live stream producer and coach. I can help you learn how to live stream. If you want to do it yourself, I can produce it for you. Do everything from promoting to running the show. And I'm working on, it's almost finalized. I'm so excited about it, where it's going to do everything from running the show to doing social media management across multiple platforms. So I'm super excited about that. Yeah, I know, Kelly, boo Facebook. But I had to try it. I had to give it a try. So that is coming up really, really soon. I hope to have it nailed down in the next few weeks, and I'm really, really excited about that. So what else? All right, let's just jump right into it. My guest tonight, speaking of training, was my very first ever paid client for Hit Productions. She took a chance on me, which I greatly appreciate. Like, I had zero social proof of what I could do. She took a chance on me, and she live streams now. She's had a couple of different shows. She is a coach, and y'all seen the Dos Equis commercial talking about the most interesting man in the world. Tanya is probably one of the most interesting women I've ever met. She's got just this crazy story from sailing around the world to corporate life to real estate. And now she's an entrepreneur and a coach. So I'm going to bring out Tanya Bugby.
Hey. I think this is the first time I smiled today.
Well, good.
I have had one of those days.
We were talking about that backstage, which coincidentally is all excellent business owner content that we can all relate to.
Yes.
So just tell us a little bit about you, what you do now, and all that kind of good stuff.
Oh gosh. So after all of that, and the biggest thing, well, one of the biggest things that I want to add in there was owning a flight school, learning to fly and teaching people how to fly was amazing. And so all that amazing stuff has now all accumulated down to business coaching. And I think all that stuff helps me be a better coach. And a lot of grace is given with all of that. So I'm a coach. I guess my niche, my primary client right now are anybody in the real estate profession. So realtors, brokers, team leaders, lenders. If you touch a house in any way, home inspectors, roofers, plumbers, that's who I coach.
Nice. Very, very cool. I think it's crazy. Not really crazy, but you coach the entire gamut of people that touch a house.
Yeah.
So it's not just limited to the people that are selling. You're actually on the construction and remodeling side and all that kind of stuff
Yeah.
too.
But yes, in fact, I go live Thursday with one of my clients who owns a phenomenally successful roofing company in Dallas.
Very, very cool.
Yeah. And he has
So,
relationships with a lot of realtors. So there's a connection.
right. There is a
Right?
connection there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure. So tell us just real quick for anybody that hadn't heard the story already, like I enjoy hearing it every time. Tell us about how you sailed around the world.
Oh my gosh. Hopefully not. If my mother's listening, she's rolling her eyes, right? So I was
Right,
17
because
years old.
she's probably still not over it.
No, she's still not over it, right? There's still PTSD over this, and I hear it to this day, right?
I bet.
Right. So I'm 17 years old. I'm a senior in high school, and I meet this guy 10 years older than me. So we connect. And the day after, and I'll spare the gory details, but the day I graduated, I hopped in a VW bus, drove down to LA, hopped in an airplane, flew to Australia, hopped on his brother's 65-foot sailboat, and sailed there until I turned 18.
That is just crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, would I do it differently now? Probably. I mean,
Yeah, think of the experiences you got from that. You sailed around the world.
That's why I say probably.
As a kid.
Yes, for 8 years. So once I turned 18, we came back to the States, bought our own boat. The first boat we bought was 24 foot, fixed it up, sold it, made money, bought a 32 footer, fixed it up, sold her, bought a 45 footer, and sailed all over. And I wrote for Cruising World magazine. I varnished other people's boats because I got really good at mine. And they were like, "Who does your boat?" Me. Great. Do you do this for a living? Yeah, because I need some money.
You got to
right?
You got to fund the trip somehow.
Got to fund this somehow.
Yeah.
And yeah, I blew off the part that obviously my mother's, I gave her every gray hair in her head during all of this time. So now that I have kids and grandkids, I can appreciate it. I blew off a full ride to Georgetown. I literally wanted to be president of the United States when I was 17. And I was going to go to Georgetown, go to Georgetown Law. I'll be in Washington, D.C. I'll get into politics. This is my life. And it's all because of a guy.
Yeah, but the experience behind that.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Phenomenal.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Also, I want to point out for the first time, and I don't know when, the comments are showing up on LinkedIn. Like
awesome.
They're not just showing up in Restream. I can actually see them coming in on LinkedIn, and that is
I can see. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Hey, Val. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Kelly. Yeah. David. Yeah. So sure, there was, my life turned out a lot differently than I envisioned as a 17-year-old. And my 17-year-old brain was making some very free-spirited decisions.
Was that in the 60s?
No, I graduated. Thank you for aging me that much. I graduated in 79.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm thinking VW bus. I'm thinking like the surfing era. So that may be 70s, but that is still like such a 70s thing to do.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's just awesome. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. Like I absolutely love it. Like I wish I had had that type of opportunity to present itself when I was 17. I could have just flipped the world the bird and said, you know what? I'm going to go have fun for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Work. I don't want to work. I want to go sail around the world.
Well, yes, and so here I am now as a business owner dealing with all the business owner stuff. And today was a really rough day for me. I really had a rough day today as a business owner, thinking, man, I wish I was on that boat right now.
Right.
I just jump off the boat, catch a lobster, and there's my dinner.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Like you had all kinds of things come up this week. The thing you tell your clients, you said, was to hire slow and fire fast, and you did not practice what you preached.
Nope.
And it bit you in the ass.
Yep. So
tell us about it.
Well, I hired, somebody that I, connected with on LinkedIn and spoke a good game and promised the world. And I really needed their service. And I said, okay. And I know better, like check references, ask for some examples of their work, call some of their people that they're working with. I really do know better. And that's how I
Right.
coach my clients, like hire slow. Let's ask the right questions. Right. And I didn't. And here we are, you know, almost 2 months in, and today I fired them.
Yeah.
So I fired fast. I'm like, peace out.
Two
And I
months is a
take full,
long time, though. That's not that.
no,
When you're
but
talking about when you're talking about deliverables with a deadline.
right. Yes. Yes. And I take full responsibility for
Yeah.
the lack of hiring slow and asking the
Yeah.
right questions and asking for examples and all the things I train my clients on. I mean, it was an epic fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously I learned from it. We'll never
Right.
do that again.
And I
Yeah.
think that's part of LinkedIn's a great place. I've gotten referrals from people. There are people that I will absolutely put my name on and say, hey, you want marketing, go hire Amy Wills. You want
Yep.
copywriting, go hire Michelle Hironako or Juliet PA. Like, I will put my name behind these people. But I think that's also kind of a downfall, is because, like you and I are friends. If I were, like you said, your name's behind it when you give a recommendation.
Right.
So they may have done awesome for me because I had a pre-existing relationship and was a friend with them. But whenever it comes down to doing something for someone else, they may not be quite as, and I'm not saying Amy or Michelle or Juliet would do any of that.
I
I'm just
know.
saying, like, that's kind of almost a downfall. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to trust that this referral came in good. They may have done a great job for that person, but they may have been the outlier.
Right.
So you
Yeah.
still
Or
need to do
maybe,
your homework.
right. Yes. Regardless of the referrals, you still want to do your homework and see if they're going to
Yes.
be a good match or be able to match your brand. Or, I don't need anybody to have a lot of real estate knowledge, but they're going to need to learn some,
Yeah.
you know, and I can take the time to teach them or give them things to read, but you got to know something about real estate. You don't need to be a realtor. I coach a roofer. I don't know how to roof a roof. Right.
Right.
But I need to know something about business. Right.
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 And that's where I dropped the ball. And I'm really sad that I put myself through this, because it's been, 2 months of, okay, be patient. Okay, let's do this. And it's like, no, I'm done. Peace out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're not liking the peace out at all. And then also there's grace, like you said, or you were saying, they did a great job for me, but maybe when you referred them out, there was something going on in their life.
Right.
Maybe they got sick, they got COVID or something, right? And so that it's not the exact experience you experience. So I'm really that, and again, with coaching, I do coach my clients through, let's give them some grace. Let's have a communication. What's going on? What's the challenge? What are we going to do differently? How can we do better? I did all those questions once I'm in the relationship, and
Yes.
we're going to do better. Okay, we hear you. And then here we are, it's not better.
Yeah.
And now I'm not having the second conversation again.
Right. And
Yeah.
and to the point of, having some grace, it also comes down to, I think, whoever you're hiring to do something, if they need that grace, they need to let you know.
Yes. Communication
Instead
is
of
key. Yep.
instead of not delivering, just be like, look, sis, like, I am going through it right now. My kid has had strep and then this and then that or whatever, and I'm going through it. I need a little bit of grace.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yes.
And most people are willing to give that grace.
Yep.
I would be.
Sure. Me too.
But
Yeah.
if you're just not delivering with multiple conversations with no reason behind it, then you know what? See
Yep.
ya.
Yeah. And again, I take full responsibility. I
Yeah.
needed to have done better with the hiring. And, you know, one of the, again, I'm so sensitive to this over promising and under delivering with the people that
Mm-hmm.
I coach, with myself personally. And I think this, I over deliver. My clients get
Mm-hmm.
pop-up trainings. My clients, coach with me in one-on-one or in a group setting. And then I offer pop-up trainings. You've done too, right? I
Yeah.
offer
Yeah.
mastermind sessions, SOS calls. I'm all in for customer service. In fact, my clients right now as a group, so I coach 28 people. My humans right now are reading the book Unreasonable Hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about over delivering and standing out and
Mm-hmm.
having, people say, you have to use this person. They're phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So we do that. We do a mini book club, so over delivering is important. I got so over promised and so under delivered.
Yeah. And you know
Yeah.
what's like, speaking of over delivering, just I'm gonna plug myself on this one. If you hire me to train you to live stream, which hopefully I won't, I say hopefully, I'll still do it some, but hopefully before long I can just move strictly into producing and stuff, and I'll still do some training. And Tanya can attest to this, and I've got a couple other people that can too. If you hire me to live stream training, that's a one-time fee, and we go through 3 or 4 sessions, however long it takes you. But then you have full access to me for lifetime, where
Yep.
it's, hey, you have a question, shoot me a text, we'll get on a call, give me a call, whatever. I've never had anybody abuse it, but it's there if you need it.
I've used it, I think, twice now.
You've used it twice. Yeah, twice. Like
Yes.
in 2 years, it's been 2 years since we worked together, or
Right.
coming up on 2 years.
Yep.
You've only used it twice. And I've had one other person that shoots me a few emails, or I've had to text or call them and walk
Yep.
them through something in the middle of them trying to record their live. But you have to do that kind of stuff because that's the kind of stuff that sticks out. And I'm not like, I'm tooting my own horn, but I'm not. I'm just reiterating the fact of what you're saying.
Yeah. Over delivering, exceptional customer service. However, you want to knock your client's socks off, that's what's going to keep us in business and get us
Mm-hmm.
referrals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yep. Yeah, we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
Oy, oy, oy.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm so glad I'm here. Like literally, I'm like, my mouth hurts from smiling. Like I have not
Well,
done that
good.
all day. I've been
Well,
dealing with
good.
business stuff
Yeah.
all day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank
And
you.
that's the part that whenever you think about being an entrepreneur, that's not the fun stuff.
Mm,
Like, I enjoy producing. I enjoy sitting down with people and talking, get a vision for what they want and craft, a show that's going to be compelling and inviting and all that stuff. I like training people and watching them get it and be like, okay. And then they move into doing their own show and they're doing excellent at it, like you and Amanda Stern and a few other
yep.
people, Luke Velmer and a few other people I've worked with, Amy Har and Jerry, I forgot how to pronounce his last name. Anyway, all these people I've worked with and see them doing it. But then, you have to do admin stuff and like not fun stuff and, work on recreating your whole offer and putting that together and just the things that go with it. You're like, oh, I'd rather get hit in the mouth than do this right now.
Well, yeah, welcome to my world of coaching because everybody wants to, I want to just go sell a house, right? Or all I need to do is go roof a roof, right?
And I imagine with coaching,
get...
you hear everybody's complaints about all that stuff.
All I want to do is coach, right? All I want to do is coach. Do I want to do the next LinkedIn post or build a landing page or build out a onboarding email? I don't even know what it's called, right? Yeah,
right.
No, I would love to be in a spot where I could hire that out.
Yes, absolutely. There's some things I wish I could hire out myself. Like, just for instance, I've been paying $19.99 a month for a year and a half for an email software that I never ever use because that's just one more thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I recently just hibernated it so I don't lose my email list. I guess I could download it, but so I don't lose my email list and keep my subscription going at a cheaper rate. But I was like, I'm paying $20 a month for something that I'm not using because I just don't have the time or the bandwidth right now to try and come up with emails. Who has time to do an email campaign? I work a full-time job and I'm trying to grow a business,
Yes. And the funny part with that is I love my emails. Like I send out 2 emails a month and then some extra ones when I'm, starting a new program, then I'll do some, so that I leave room in between. Like, twice a month, I have an email where I write something about imposter syndrome or something. And then the off weeks are like, okay, I'm starting Move the Needle or I'm doing my Broker Brilliance. So I save room to email. I love that part, but all the other stuff, because we all have our likes and dislikes, yeah.
Yeah.
Just yes.
Yes, yes, to all of it for sure.
And there's Val. Well, so for a shout out to Val, because I did spend time with Val and worked with Val, and she gave me some great LinkedIn posts. So
Yes,
yes, Val, shout out to Val.
yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, Val sits down with you. As you, or
Mhm.
you tell us better than, since you've worked with her, better than what, because I had never worked with her on that. So tell us what Val does. Let's just plug Val real quick.
Okay, so we'll plug Val, and I want to plug Zainab too because it's very similar, right? So I
Yes,
sit down
yes,
with Zainab like on Zoom and talk, and she'll say, "Well, tell me about this, or tell me what you like about coaching, or what's the biggest challenge with coaching a realtor, or a business owner," and we just chat like this. And
yes.
she totally gets me safe. And same thing with Val, the exact same thing. We sit here and she listens and I talk and she's taking notes and taking excerpts of me sailing or me flying. And true story, I love landing airplanes. I could do touch and goes and land them all day long. I don't like going from point A to point B. I hate turbulence.
Can I
So
can I interrupt you for just a
yeah.
second? This is like almost has me in tears here because she has been a friend of mine since I was 15. And life happened, and like she was one of my best friends, and then she got married, and her husband and I were real good friends. We hunted, we hung out, we did all the things. Then life happened. I started being stupid and got in trouble. She started having kids and started a business and all this kind of stuff. And I went to prison. We kind of lost touch. And she shows up in my people you may know in Facebook when I got on Facebook about 3 weeks ago. And we reconnected and have been talking every couple of days and carrying on conversations and stuff. So to see her right
That's so
here,
cool.
Rachel,
Yeah.
I love you. And it's so good to see you. I love you and Sean both. So thanks for
Hey,
dropping.
Rachel.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry
So
about that.
awesome. Very cool
I had to
story. No,
holler. Yeah.
that's really cool. So same thing with Val's. And then next thing I know, a week or so later, I've got, you know, a half a dozen LinkedIn posts written for me. And
Yes.
with Zainab, I have videos. So she turns when we talk into videos. And so I have snippets, like 25 videos. And with Val, I've got, a half a dozen or a dozen LinkedIn posts. And so, yeah, that's awesome.
I worked with Z too. Like I was in a content slump about a year ago. That was back whenever Mavens of Merch was going. So I had a lot of interaction with Z and with Dana and
Yeah.
talking about over delivering. And,
Yeah.
I'm always hesitant to say when people do stuff for me and don't charge me. But Z is like just the type of person. She saw the predicament I was in and she said, Chris, sit down with me for 20 minutes. I'll give you a couple of videos for free. And she did.
Yeah.
And they were absolutely amazing. Like the way
Yep.
she pulls it out of you. And I'm sure Val does it the exact same way.
The same way. Yep.
Talk. You just get on
Yep.
Zoom and you talk and you hang out and you laugh and you cut up. And she's just freestyling, asking questions. And then she does all the editing and stuff herself. And gives you these videos ready, packaged and ready to go. And it's just absolutely.
Yep. Well, you can go look at my YouTube channel. 90% of them are from Z. They're there. Like the last one I posted was one of the ones we just did because we've had 2 sessions now. And yes, she's super giving. Talk about over delivering.
Yes.
Talk about over delivering.
Yep, for sure. And I have no doubts Val is the exact same way. Just because of the way she is in the comments and the way she supports people, I know that she does the exact same thing for her clients.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
right now I'm starting a new program called Broker Brilliance, and it's to help brokers and team leaders recruit, retain, create a sense of community, because the biggest pain point for brokers and team leaders is how their agents are getting recruited nonstop every day.
Yeah.
Another broker is texting them, hey, I saw you sold a house. Come talk to me. Let me take you to lunch. Anyway, and that's what I want to do right now. So if anybody knows of anybody that can help me do that, I'm shouting it out. That's what I need. This Broker Brilliance needs to be done uber professionally. Like this can't be like everything I do, I try to do professionally. However, when I'm doing it, it might not be quite the caliber I really want this to be. Right.
Are you looking at creating this as a digital course or
no, it's
like
a
online?
workshop.
A workshop. Okay.
We do it on Zoom. It's 2.5 hours. And then the goal is that they walk away with some action steps for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I have resources for them that I've already created. And ultimately, I'm a business owner. I'd love them to sign up for my coaching program.
Sure. Yeah. That's always
total transparency.
That's always the next step. Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
It's that way whenever I've only run one boot camp, but whenever I run a boot camp, that's like the goal is to
Yep.
just full, like you said, full transparency. There's going to be a lot of people that want to do it themselves and can do it like you, but there's
Yep.
going to be a lot of people that want to do it and you just blow their socks off with how much is involved. And they're like, you know what? Just here, take
Take
my
it over. Yep.
Yep,
Yep. Yep.
for sure. So what does move the needle?
Move the needle. It's my signature workshop. I've done it for 2 years, and it's for any business owner. It's for anybody that's stuck. It doesn't even have to be a business owner. I've had college students on it. It's wherever you're stuck. And so we work on your mindset, your heart set, traveling from here to here and actually feeling what's up here in your head, and not listening to the inner critic or the saboteurs, whatever you want to call it, gremlins that you got. So we always start with that, and I do a guided visualization, and then we go into customizing your roadmap, because like I coach two humans that both have the same real estate goal, for example, but one's married, has a bunch of babies, one has 2 babies under the age of 5, very successful, and then I have, say, a single guy who's living alone. How I coach him to his success and how I coach the gal who's got a family and kids to success, 2 different
Totally different.
roadmaps.
Yep. I
Yeah.
get that.
So my superpower is customizing the roadmap. If it was a one size fits all, it certainly would be easy. And there's a lot of coaching companies that have a one size fits all. Do this, this, and this, and you'll be successful. Not taking into account somebody else's lifestyle. And then
Yeah.
again, what I do on all my workshops is creating a sense of community, like I have on LinkedIn, and how I have met you and so many
Mhm.
amazing people like Amber and Val, and just so many people, making sure that you're in a community with like-minded people. So the workshop
Yes.
that's move the needle. And sometimes I'll do it just for realtors, and then I'll get 15 realtors on a call, and it's, fun. And other times I'll open up to anybody who's stuck on a goal. And again, it's fun. It's different.
Mhm.
And I do that probably once a quarter, sometimes more, because I
Okay.
really like it. Yeah.
How did
It's
you
fun.
tell us how you got started? Your niche being realtors
Because I was a
and the
real estate
realty.
agent.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
the
was a
real
real
estate
estate
field.
agent.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in between the different things I've done. I'm married. I've got 2 kids, 10 and 12 ish. And I get my real estate license because, hey, why not? And my mom's a realtor, so there's some connection in there. My mom's 83 and still heavily into real estate.
Really?
Yep. She's in San Francisco. So
Wow.
I'm in Houston, and I get divorced. My leaves. I've got the 2 kids, no child support. Um, and my mom says, she calls me Tatiana. Tatiana, come home, which is in San Francisco. And my kids are, my oldest has like a solo in the Nutcracker. My youngest is captain of the swim team. They don't want to leave.
Right.
I asked them, like, no, mom, we're not leaving.
Right.
So mom needs to suck it up. So I don't listen to her very often, but this time I listened to her. And she says, well, then you need to hire a business coach, because just having your license isn't going to get you supporting those babies.
Mhm.
So I did. I got a real estate coach from a real estate coaching company, and she is my hero. I went from 0, bottom of the ladder, to number 2.
Wow.
And I made more money than my ex and I ever made together as a couple. I didn't miss my kids, ballet, swimming.
Right.
I really, like I say, my coach, her name was Kelly, still coaches, was my hero through that.
Yeah.
And then now my kids are going to college. And so my oldest goes to University of San Diego, because we're from California. And
Right.
my youngest goes to Pepperdine. And I'm sitting in Houston by myself going, what am I doing in Houston? All by
Mhm.
myself with my family in
Mhm.
California. And don't get me wrong, I loved Houston, but I'm a California girl through and through.
Right.
So my coach says, well, we'll hire you in a heartbeat. Let me go talk to, the powers that be. And sure enough, I had an offer, and they recruited me in, and they gave me 2 weeks to move, and I moved. So I moved to San Diego because the company is in Carlsbad, California, and the rest was history. At that time, I started coaching. So I was a corporate coach for 7 years. and only coaching people in the real estate profession. I was the main coach for their Wells Fargo people. I coach lenders. And so I coached Wells Fargo through this company, and it changed. What it looks like on the outside is different than what it looks like on the inside. And so 2 years ago,
Isn't
March.
that
So
the way
exactly.
it mostly is with corporate stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really didn't know how bad it was until I left. And it took me like 3 months to find my mojo. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'm Tanya Bugby again after 3 months.
Right.
Like, where did that woman go?
Right. Exactly.
I just got sucked right in. So March will be 2 years that I've owned my own business. So
Nice.
and so some of my clients followed me, and then they give me
So
phenomenal referrals.
we met then not long after you had just started.
I just
Because
started.
I think
We
you
met
and I
through
did the
Katie.
live stream. Yeah, we met through Katie, but I think you and I did the live stream training in like June or July. Like it was early to midsummer. So you had just started.
Yeah, I gave notice February 14th intentionally. So it was a Friday, and I gave notice February 14th, and I gave them a month's notice, and they said, nope, you've got 2 weeks to get out of here. You have till 5 o'clock today to message your clients that you're done. That's the love of the corporation.
Yes.
So I did, right? And 2 weeks later, I started. So March 1st. So March 1st will be 2 years for me. So then, yes, you and I went live in June. Yeah.
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 Yep, sure was.
And I'll always have a coach. Yeah. And
I don't guess I realized that you were that new into your, maybe you told me and I don't remember, I don't know, but that's crazy. You were that new into it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes. Well, it was very intriguing, and I obviously had seen your lives, and I really loved them. I mean, you're phenomenal. So, and my coaches, introduced me to you, and I'm like, okay, let's give it a try.
Yeah, and Katie's great. Like she's just got this crazy bubbly personality, and it shocked me. And like she hadn't asked me back, which is fine, but you've asked me back twice to do the same thing that I did for her, which is basically just talk about live streaming and why you should be doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so the funny thing is for my clients, maybe I scared them away. So I give them a monthly challenge. We have a private, again, another thing I give is my clients I have a private Facebook group. And so they're all in there, and every month I give them a challenge. So this month, because so many people are so fearful of video, the challenge was 4 videos, 1 a week, 4 videos, anything you want. And again, same thing for the roofer, same thing for my financial planner. Everybody's going to do 1 a week. You pick the topic, you pick the length, no pressure, go. This has been the hardest month to get them to do it. I mean, if I give them a book challenge, they do it. Handwriting notes, I did do 50 handwritten notes in, I want to say it was November. The challenge was to write like 2 notes a day. So just about 50. And I can't tell you, I send them a gift. I sent more gifts on that month that hit the challenge. Yeah. I think I'm going to hit 2 or 3 this month. That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
See, and I was kind of thinking about that whenever you put the topic in the invite as video and live streaming. And, just thinking about realtors and not being on LinkedIn and shift, like that's one of the reasons I shifted into Facebook, because I know not everybody's on LinkedIn. And maybe realtors aren't doing video. Like it doesn't matter what your field is. If you don't understand the importance of video and the like, know, and trust factor and the parasocial factor and everything that comes with it, then you were way behind in your marketing.
Yep.
You were years behind.
So I market well, and I have not had a lot of success yet with social media and getting clients. I have not. So I'm all over for getting advice on that. I'm open to it. I have a client that I coach who's new to me. We've been coaching only a year, and we've been focusing very heavily on her database and growing her database and growing her presence on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And she called me last week and said, I got a client. They want me to sell their home, and they found me on Instagram. I'm so happy for her. But she's been so intentional with it and providing value. Yeah.
You have to be, and you have to mix some personal in there with it. Like you don't have to, tell your life story, but you can
Yep.
like you do with Charlie. We get pictures and videos of Charlie. Like that adds that humanness, that
Yep.
human side to you, that real side to you that shows you're not just this talking head, you're an actual person
Yep.
with a dog. And who doesn't
Yep.
love a dog?
Or a grandkid. I got
Or a grandkid. Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't love a dog named Charlie? Like what's not to love about that?
I know. I tell you, it took me almost 2 years to say the word grandkid and not go, oh my God, when did that happen? I mean, I know how it happened, but why and how, and like, at what time did I turn this age? Like, at what
And,
time did this become my next phase?
and don't you have another one on the way? Is that
Oh,
right?
yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
They were dogs. You don't have to
April
say
4th.
anything more. Dogs. Yep.
Yeah. Not April 14th. So I have two daughters. And so my oldest has a 2-year-old and my youngest is due April.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. 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 Cool.
It is cool, but this took me a while to accept the coolness.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It just
what else?
happened
I
in a
had
blink.
something in my head I was going to ask you a minute ago. That's the one downside to freestyling an entire show is when you have a good thought. Sometimes
Grandpa's
it
also. So
disappears.
David said grandpa also. I bet.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's the best. Grandbabies are the best.
Man, one of my friends I reconnected with on Facebook, we were kids growing up, and she's younger than I am. And she said something about having like a 19-year-old. And I was like, oh my God, you have a 19-year-old? She was like, bruh, I've got like a 21-year-old and a grandkid. And I was like, holy crap, you're younger than me. Gee, thanks
Yep.
for making me feel old.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. It is.
So, another cool story about you that some people may not know is you are second generation,
Mm-hmm.
first generation immigrant. You're
Second.
second. Your grandparents came over,
Mm-hmm.
and your grandpa was part of building a pretty big piece of
Yes, the
history.
historical landmark. Yeah, so my grandparents are Russian. They were living in a Russian community in China because my great grandfather was the engineer for the Trans-Siberian Railroad. So they were in China. It was going to go down through China, right? So my grandparents, and then the Japanese invaded China, so they flew or fled. They didn't fly. There was no. They fled
Got on a boat.
on a
Yeah.
boat, right,
Yeah.
and came to San Francisco. And my grandfather came first, and he actually went back and got my grandmother, and the rest is history. They raised phenomenal humans. But my grandfather's first job at about, I want to say 18, was painting the Golden Gate Bridge. And the higher you went, the more you got paid. So he just went right to the top and just said,
Yeah.
okay, right, and show me the money, because he needed to go
Right.
back and get my grandmother.
Right.
Right.
At 18, like that's crazy. He was a kid.
He was a kid, and then went
Yeah.
back and got my grandmother. They came back, got married, and there was a Russian community in San Francisco, and then they found Marin County, and it's a bit warmer, bit more affordable back then, not now.
Right.
And there was no Russian Orthodox church, so my grandmother decided, well, we got to build a church. So her and her friends went around and got donations, and they found land and bought the land, and my grandfather helped. I mean, I have pictures. I was showing my daughter yesterday because she was over for the Super Bowl, and showing pictures of grandpa building this church, and where all my family has been christened since, including my kids and now my grandkids. And that was just, build it and we'll find a priest. And they did. And the rest is history. Yeah.
That's
I
so
love my
crazy.
genetic
Right?
makeup with my
Yeah.
grandparents.
Yeah, that is absolutely awesome. And I can see kind of that stubbornness in you to do things like, all right, fine. If I got to go to the top
I'll
to make
go
money, that's
live.
what yeah, I'll go to the top. If I got to go live, I'll go live,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. And even in your daughter, like who was involved in a swimming accident.
Yeah, that one gives me the heebie-jeebies. She was
Yeah.
she went to Kauai with her husband a couple years ago. I want to say it's been 2.5 years, 2 years, because she went live with me to share her story. And they were hiking on a trail, and she fell off the cliff right straight down into the ocean. And my daughter is a swimmer. She was swimmer all the way through college, did the mile, did open water swims, did many swims. So she is very comfortable and very strong in the water, especially in the
Mm.
ocean. She fell into the ocean and it took her out and beat her up against the coral reefs. I mean, if you look at her back, it looks like she was whipped to this
Yeah,
day. I mean, it's all,
really.
she broke ribs, broke her toes. Then it calmed down and it started to bring her back. And then another wave came, took her back out. I know if she wasn't a good swimmer, she would not have made it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so it wasn't
Yeah.
a swimming accident. She literally fell off a cliff
Yeah.
hiking. Wow.
Yeah. And so she made it back and had to climb up with all that pain. She had to climb back up. And of course, her husband didn't know what to do. I think he just went into shock, but jumping
Yeah.
in wouldn't have saved her.
No.
Right. So, but he did climb down and he literally gave her his shoes because her shoes came off.
Hmm.
So she could climb back up. And so he climbed up barefoot. So his feet aren't feeling real good, you know, and
Yeah.
then and then he drove her to the emergency room, and I get a phone call in the middle of the night because of the time difference or
Hmm.
whatever. And hey, Tanya, Anya's okay, but I got to tell you what happened. So, so physically she's fine. Emotionally, she's much better. But a lot of nightmares and a lot of stuff happening.
Oh, I bet.
And that's what and so she came on and shared her story, and it was amazing how many people had.
Yep.
That was probably one of my most popular lives because so many
I
people,
bet.
have had accidents like that or know people that have had any kind of accident that changes their life forever.
Yeah, and people are drawn to that. Like they're drawn to hearing tragedy with strength and survival. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like that's kind of it's a hook. It's a tearjerker, and we like to hear about people who overcame something,
Yeah.
especially something that was so dangerous.
Right. And as a mom, I felt like, gosh, I wish I was there.
Yeah.
It's just so hard not being able to be there for, even though at the time she was probably 24.
Yeah.
She just turned 26. Maybe she was 23 and I couldn't be there. She's still my
Yeah.
baby.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
But she's doing better. We still talk about it once in a while. She's not jumping. She's not doing that hike again anytime soon. She's been back
I
to
bet.
Kauai. And then she went live with me a second time because I am so blessed. She asked me to go back a year later because she wanted to do something in Kauai that gave her a good and strong memory. So I don't know if you know, but she did the Kauai marathon.
The marathon.
Yes.
I remember
So
that.
she trained
Yes.
for a marathon and was determined to do it on Kauai. So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So yes, we leap. Sure, I'll go live. Sure, I'll start my own business. Sure,
Right.
I'll do a marathon. She
Right.
didn't do any research. It turns out that the Kauai marathon is the second hardest in the country to do.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't think she would have picked it. However, she did it.
She might have, though, if she was really that determined
Yeah.
to have a good memory
Yeah.
of Kauai.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah. But she did it, and she invited me to come. So I did like I did
I
with all her
remember.
swim meets. I hold the towel, right? She does the event, and I'm standing there holding the towel, right?
Right.
And she did it, and her husband did it with her, and he
Mhm.
stayed with her because he could have gone faster, but he just stayed with her to help her, and I'm glad he did because it's hard. I mean, I
And I can't
remember
even
waiting.
imagine.
Yeah, because it's so steep, so many hills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like the Boston Marathon where it's downtown and it's all just flat, straight. I imagine there it is a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
And
Oh, it's brutal.
Not running on concrete. You're running on dirt and gravel and
Well, it's hot, it's humid, and it rains.
hot and humid.
So her
Oh,
shoes
yeah.
kept falling off while she's running because they're getting all
Oh,
sloshy with water. And yeah, she's got fun stories. I should go live with her again. But yeah, so
yeah.
we went to Kauai and enjoyed that week, and she's been back to Kauai now maybe twice, but she won't do that trail again. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, won't go anywhere near it. And I'm okay with that.
All right. For sure.
Yep. Yeah.
Maybe one day, but not right now. And
not right
hopefully
now.
never. Yeah.
No, now she's having babies, so let's just pass on that.
Right. Yeah. Let's just skip the dangerous stuff for now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Tanya, we are at time. Anything you want to leave us with?
Just thank you everybody for coming and spending the time with us. I feel this was awesome. Like I said, it was the first time I've actually smiled and, children relaxed and laughed and shared. And yeah. So thank you for being here. It was fun.
It was fun. And if y'all need a coach for something, if you need some clarity, even if you're not a real estate agent, like she said, she has to move the needle. If you are anywhere involved in any type of the real estate field, whether it's roofing or plumbing or whatever, if you lay tile, if you lay sod, if you lay grass,
Right.
give her a call. She can help you out.
Yeah, pass it. And if you know
Oh.
of anybody that's struggling in real estate, it's not an easy profession. All business owners, we all have our struggles. Like we all do. I do. Chris does. Anybody who's a business owner, starting their own business or into their own business, it can be lonely and frustrating and challenging. Real estate's not any different. So yeah, pass them my way.
So next
Thank
week,
you.
thank you. Next week, speaking of childhood friends, I have a friend on next week who I've known even longer than Rachel. We've been friends since I was 14. So 30 years this year, I think, or next year. She's been going through it. Nobody knew. Like I was over at her and her husband's house all the time, hanging out, spent all summer on the lake with them. And she was absolutely going through it. And nobody had any idea, not even her husband. And since then, she's kind of moved out of it. God's did a lot of really amazing things in her life, but she's going to come on and tell her story and just talk about how, just because you look okay does not mean you're okay. And it can be anybody, literally like I had no clue whatsoever that she was going through all this stuff. And it was just like depression and anxiety and just all kinds of bad feelings. It wasn't like she was, suicidal or anything, but she was just really having a rough time. So it's also going to be the first time that I'm going to move. I'm going to take my laptop and mic and camera and lights to her house. And we're going to sit down on the same camera, side by side and have the conversation. So I'm looking forward to doing that. It'll be something different. It'll be really special because it's somebody that I know and I love. So it's going to be a really cool show, y'all. Y'all should show up for real. I say we are. I texted her today to confirm she was going to do it, and I hadn't heard back from her. So here's hoping that we're still going to do this next week. All right, y'all. I appreciate it. Tanya, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with me.
Thank you for asking me to be here. It's a pleasure.
You bet. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye, everybody.